Social Security is a crucial lifeline for millions of Americans, particularly those over 50, who rely on it for their retirement, disability, or survivor benefits. But what if that check, the one you've worked so hard for, isn't as accurate as you think? You're not alone in your concerns. The Social Security Administration, SSA, does make mistakes, and the consequences can be frustrating, especially when you depend on that money to cover your living expenses. Today, we're going to explore 10 common ways your Social Security check could be wrong and how you can take action if something's off. This is important information, especially for those of us who are navigating the system after years of hard work and contributions. Incorrect work history could cost you. Have you ever wondered if your Social Security check is based on an accurate record of your work history? One of the biggest reasons your check might be wrong is that the SSA has incorrect information about your work history. This could happen because of simple clerical errors or more complex mistakes in the way earnings were reported by employers. You might be surprised to know that data entry mistakes from decades ago are still showing up. The SSA has been digitizing its records for years, but human errors, like mixing up a 3 and an 8 in your birth date or misreporting wages, are not uncommon. Imagine you worked part-time in your 20s, but the SSA has no record of that job. This oversight could result in a significantly smaller Social Security check when you retire. The wrong start date could affect your payments. Another error that can cause an incorrect Social Security check is the wrong start date for your benefits. Small mistakes in the month you begin receiving Social Security can have a compounding effect. For instance, if the SSA incorrectly assumes you started receiving benefits in March when you actually started in February, it could mean a slight miscalculation of your check. This doesn't seem like much at first, but if this error goes uncorrected for years, the cumulative impact can become quite significant. The Social Security system calculates your monthly benefit based on the month you start receiving it, so even a small discrepancy in the date can affect the payment amount over time. Primary insurance amount errors could lead to overpayment or underpayment. Your primary insurance amount, PIA, is the foundation of your Social Security benefit calculation, determining how much you'll receive when you reach full retirement age. This complex figure is based on your highest earning 35 years of work, and there are many factors involved in the formula. A simple mistake in these calculations could lead to overpayment or underpayment, which would impact the total amount you receive. Errors like these aren't always obvious at first, but they can snowball over the course of your retirement. If you find that your benefit doesn't seem to match your earnings or expectations, you should check with the SSA to ensure the PIA was calculated correctly. Administrative errors can lead to missed or incorrect payments. The SSA, like any large organization, is not immune to administrative errors. One common issue involves the incorrect processing of your application or failure to adjust your payment after a significant life event such as a marriage, divorce, or the death of a spouse. These errors can result in underpayments or even missed payments altogether. This is particularly problematic for people relying on Social Security as their primary income source. Thankfully, you have the right to challenge these mistakes. Always review your statements and report any discrepancies to the SSA as soon as possible. Garnishments may be incorrectly applied. You may not realize this, but your Social Security check isn't completely immune from garnishment. In some cases, creditors, child support agencies, or even the IRS can garnish part of your benefits. This happens if you owe back taxes, child support, or other court-ordered payments. However, errors can occur in this process as well. For example, your garnishment could be based on incorrect amounts or the wrong percentage could be taken out. This can especially be a problem if you're already living on a fixed income and unexpected garnishments cause a significant portion of your benefits to be withheld. If you believe your benefits are being garnished incorrectly, make sure to address the issue with the SSA immediately. Mistakes in the Cost of Living Adjustment, COLA. Each year, the SSA adjusts Social Security benefits to keep pace with inflation, known as the Cost of Living Adjustment, COLA. However, this adjustment is not always applied correctly. There have been many instances where beneficiaries noticed that their check wasn't increased by the promised percentage. For example, If your COLA increase should have been 3%, but you only received 2%, that's a problem that could be corrected with a simple inquiry. Be proactive and track your COLA adjustments to ensure they match the published figures. Miscalculations in spousal or survivor benefits. If you're married or widowed, you may be entitled to spousal or survivor benefits. However, these benefits are often complicated to calculate and require multiple steps to determine the correct amount. It's common for errors to happen in these calculations, either because of a misunderstanding of the rules or an administrative mistake. For instance, spousal benefits can be reduced if you start receiving them early, or if you're entitled to a survivor benefit instead. If you believe your spousal or survivor benefits are incorrect, it's important to question the SSA's calculations and seek clarification. Incorrect Medicare deductions. Medicare premiums are typically deducted from your Social Security check, but errors in this process are common. Sometimes the wrong amount is deducted, or deductions are applied late. For people living on a fixed income, these discrepancies can cause significant frustration, especially when you're counting on your check to cover your monthly expenses. If you notice any discrepancies in your Medicare deductions, it's crucial to address the issue as soon as possible to avoid any future financial strain. Delayed life change adjustments. Life changes, whether through marriage, divorce, or the death of a spouse, can lead to delayed adjustments in your Social Security check. For instance, if you've remarried, your new spouse may be entitled to a spousal benefit. But if you haven't filed the proper paperwork, or if the SSA hasn't processed the information correctly, you might experience delays in receiving the adjusted amount. Similarly, when someone passes away, the survivor benefit should be adjusted. But if the SSA is slow to process the information, the survivor might be underpaid for a time. Life changes require prompt updates to the SSA's records, and mistakes here can affect your financial security. Fraud and identity theft. Social Security fraud or identity theft is a serious concern, especially for older adults. One scenario is when a thief gains access to your Social Security number and uses it to work under your name, paying into the system with the intention of eventually claiming benefits under your Social Security number. This could result in an inflated benefit when it's time for you to retire, but when the SSA discovers the fraud, they'll reverse the overpayment, potentially leaving you with a much smaller check. Unfortunately, identity theft can be difficult to detect at first, and it can take years before it affects your Social Security payments. Regularly checking your Social Security earnings statement is one way to spot this type of fraud early. The Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, and Government Pension Offset, GPO. Changes in Social Security laws could also lead to an incorrect check. The elimination of the Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, GPO, which occurred at the end of 2023, affected many individuals who worked in both government and private sectors. This retroactive change means that the SSA must now recalculate certain benefits. If you're affected by these changes, your Social Security check could be different than expected. The best course of action is to review your benefits and contact the SSA to ensure the new rules are being applied correctly. Your Social Security check is vital to your financial well-being, so if you notice anything off, don't hesitate to investigate further. Errors in work history, calculations, life changes, garnishments, or even fraud can all affect your payments, but the good news is that most of these issues can be resolved. Make sure to regularly review your SSA statements, stay informed about changes to the system, and take action if you suspect anything is wrong. After all, it's your money and you deserve to get what you've earned. If you found this video helpful, be sure to check out our other discussions on how to maximize your Social Security benefits and avoid common pitfalls. Stay proactive and protect your financial future.